Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply. Available in app only.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
What's up, fans? Our partners here at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, sports developments, including this year's NBA Finals, NHL Hockey Conference Finals, Major League Baseball, and the latest fighting news, even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online where the game starts. Not only does this Bet Online sponsor the Bossman Show, they'll sponsor you too. Get it, bet online today because the boss man said so. Back on the Bossman Show, going to D.C. to George Washington to new head coach Chris Capito on the Bossman Show in his office, looking spry over there. Coach, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back with you. I'm excited to spend some time here this morning.
I hear that, Coach. Let me ask you, man. Tell me about your past few months here at GW, man. How's that whirlwind been, man? I know you've been in D.C. before, man. You've been in that region before, people you know. Yeah. How's it feel to be back home for you pretty much, brother?
Yeah, it's great. I told people when I'm from New York originally, but I lived here, for 9 years, 9 seasons at George Mason. And when I left, I thought, well, I'll never be anywhere in coaching 9 years. That's a long time. And then I went to Miami. And I was in Miami 11 years, which is kind of funny. And both places have been great to me. And now to be back here where I kind of know my way around and know some people and have a sense of the area and all that has been great. Obviously a lot of work to do. And anytime you take over a new program, and in particular in this time of, the transfer portal, media eligibility, guys visiting, that was one of the things where last year at Miami, we had a couple of transfers come in, Jordan Miller and Charlie Moore, but they didn't visit because of the COVID restrictions. There were no visits. And so last year's transfers really all visited via Zoom, and that was that. So you didn't go visit them. They didn't come visit you. Well, obviously this year, we're back open and those guys are taking visits. And so it's probably complicated a little bit. And then obviously the NIL is a whole new world this year as well. So a lot of new and exciting things this spring when you take over a new job.
No doubt. And if you take over a job, it's good to take over a job in a place that you know very well. So for you, in moving on from being an assistant under Coach Larry Onega, to take a job like this in an area has to be everything you can wish for as your first time being your head coach on your own.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, great respect for the GW program. When we, people forget when we went to the Final Four in 2006, GW had, I think they were 27-3. They had an incredible year. And if not for a Pops Mensah-Bonsu injury, they lose to Duke in the second round of the NCAA tournament. But I think, they would have been a Final Four contender as well. So obviously a lot of respect for the program and the history of the program, Coach Jarvis, Coach Talent, the NIT championship in 2016, I believe. So a lot of respect for the program.
And Coach, I think this too, Chris, is this man is that, hey, for me, GW is a national brand because I knew about GW here in Atlanta growing up. So you're in DC, a lot of opportunity for internships and career after basketball, networking in the city of Washington, D.C. in the DMV area. So I feel like with the transfer portal and NIL being where you're located at, it's an advantage for you. And you're playing in the A10, a heck of a conference as well.
Well, it's a great league, obviously a basketball league with historically good basketball programs. And, GW, it's a place that everybody kind of knows where GW is, obviously. And a top 65 school in the country academically, a place with a long history of success with international students, a place that's smack dab in the middle of the DMV where, we believe the best basketball in the country is played north and south of the district, within a few miles. There's just so many great players. And so, there's a lot of what I've said, natural resources.
No doubt. And you know what's even good about, like you said, Coach, we're sick of that. ADs love when you say resources. So being able to get in the car and go over the line one way or another, always good for every recruiting and expense budget, man.
No doubt.
Yes, indeed. So you coach with Jim Larry all these years, Coach. Talk about him preparing you to be in this role as a head coach and what he did for the assistant coaches to let you all grow in the role and have responsibility so you all can branch out like Michael Huger did and yourself did.
Yeah, I mean, it's, on my staff, just in our time, at Miami, we had Michael Huger, obviously the head coach of Bowling Green, Eric Conkle is the head coach of Tulsa now. Bill Courtney's back at Miami. Bill was the head coach of Cornell. James Johnson was with us. He had been the head coach of Virginia Tech. Both those guys had worked for Coach prior to that. Just a number of guys throughout the years. Derek Kellogg was the head coach of LIU now and UMass. Steve Murfeld had been the head coach of Evansville and Hampton. Brian Ellerby had been the head coach of Michigan. Mike Gillian, the head coach of Longwood, Scott Cherry, the head coach of High Point. So a lot of guys, particularly for a coach that, hadn't been at the Power 5 level until the last 11 years of his career, have really been able to groom head coaches. And so I just think letting you inside every piece of the program, you're involved in, and you learn to try to think about, how he views things and what he's thinking about. So you really couldn't have had a better mentor as it relates to that.
No doubt. And for you, how has it been in seeing your guys on the court here in workouts, man? And I feel like this time of year, guys are trying to get better, develop themselves. Also, you put yourself in the potential, just your new coach there, you got to put some stuff for the team in as well. But how has it been getting you guys on the court, man, sitting inside, even in that gym and knowing that, hey, we push towards this goal of getting ready come the fall here?
Yeah, I really like our group. Guys that I think are very, very motivated to have success. The prior staff deserves credit for, recruiting some really good players who also really good people. And I've really enjoyed every moment of being with them in the gym. So it's been fun there.
No doubt. And Coach, for that, how much are you all doing for us trying to put them on a development plan? I know some guys do that with development plans when they get to take over a job, but you're trying to see what they have. Or you're trying to kind of pick and choose where you want to jump in there and help them now.
Yeah, we've been pretty, that's kind of what we did at Miami, but I would say a pretty in-depth development plan. We call them growth plans. We show everybody theirs, in April, and now we're sort of, down the path of trying to execute and have a great summer with them now.
No doubt, man. And you know what? I want to ask you this, man. For the listeners out here looking forward to seeing you this year, who are some key guys we should look for on your roster you think is going to really contribute big for you guys?
Well, we have returning players that have had some success. James Bishop was an all-conference player, transfer from LSU, he's from Baltimore. James is a really talented scorer, a guy who can play both guard positions, extremely hard worker. I think a guy who's going to have a great year. Brendan Adams, a transfer from UConn, also a Baltimore guy, his brother. You guys know because he played in Atlanta for the Hawks, Jalen Adams. Brendan's been a great leader for us, and I think is a guy who's going to maybe have the best year of his career. And then Ricky Lindo is another DC guy, went to Maryland. Again, another guy who I believe will have a career year. So, those three guys are sort of the most productive returning players and guys that we think will have monster years.
Now, for you, Coach, I'm asking you, man, how much has the game changed for you since you was a player at Westfield State, man? How much has the game changed, in your opinion, being it from a player now to a coach?
Yeah, well, I think for me, it's changed tremendously, in terms of, I guess the business side of it has changed, right? The social media has really changed. The internet has changed so much of the game, and the ability to watch games on your phone and things like that are incredible. I remember people saying that, maybe 15 years ago, and I'm thinking to myself, really? And it's unbelievable now that can happen. And then, I think the other side of it is, the skill, the game is athletic, it's fast, but it's so skillful. We used to talk about having a stretch 4-man. Now every 4-man shoots threes, right? And now it's all about having a stretch 5-man and positionless basketball. And, there are things that don't change, right? I mean, the game evolves and changes, but the things that don't change are, usually the team that plays the hardest and takes the best shots will win. And so that's what we got to strive to do. But certainly stylistically, the game has changed.
Now, Coach, about the same age, so we got to kind of enjoy being in the 80s, baby. We got some of the old hardwire phones. We got kind of the best of the old and the new. We can kind of adapt to it being the age we are. But it's kind of funny seeing all this highlight stuff we saw when we was children are now obsolete and gone.
I remember, I went to Archbishop Malloy, played for the legendary Jack Curran and Kenny Anderson, who's a friend of mine, who's a bit older than me, but he's a great guy. And obviously he's probably the greatest high school guard maybe of all time. And I just remember when Kenny Anderson's name was in Sports Illustrated, the magazine, about something, when his name was in print, when he was in high school in the magazine, that was a big deal. If you think about it back in the day, right? And now it's if a guy can make 2 free throws in a row, he's got a YouTube channel and a Twitter fan account. And it's pretty funny, the way it's changed.
No doubt, man. And you have a great staff. I see you similar with Brandon, DeLane, and Zach. That was the on-court guys, and Cooper, Eric, and Lamont on the back-end operational side. Talk about the strong staff that you brought together and what those guys will be bringing to your program here going forward, man.
Yeah, I mean, I really excited about the group. Obviously Brendan Strong is from DC. He's a guy that is very well known. Worked for Team Takeover for many years. Was in the A-10 at St. Joe's, so he's got a great understanding of not only the area but the league. DeLane played in the league, was at St. Joe's as a player when they were number 1 in the country, and so playing for Bob Hurley Sr., playing for Coach Martelli at St. Joe's and having a lot of success as a player in the league was, I think important to the staff. Zach has been a guy I've known for a long time, who's really grinded and worked his way into the business, and is very, very, very well respected within the business as a tactician and a hard worker and an evaluator of talent. Eric and Lamont were with me at Miami. Lamont's a DC guy, a Division I player at UNC Wilmington. Is a great role model for our players. Eric was with us, but then also in the NBA with the Sacramento Kings, so he can give a perspective from the NBA side. And then Cooper, having been a really good player at, Kenyon College, a high academic school, which we are here, and then working for the Hoop Group, and then working at Brown, sort of mixing all those things, I think is a really good fit. So I'm really happy with the staff. As I've told people, I might screw a lot of other things up, but I don't think I screwed the staff up.
A heck of a staff. Last one for you, Coach. I want to ask you about Atlanta recruiting. When you come here to recruit Atlanta, you have AAU programs that are top flight. High school basketball is top flight, and guys who can really plug and play as freshmen. Talk about the development of the Atlanta basketball scene and the quality of the players and talent of coaching these young men coming up the ranks.
Well, I think what's incredible is just obviously with the population growth there is you find a lot of people from all over the country, originally that are now living in Atlanta. And where it used to be, sort of a southern town, and the players really were in the SEC, wound up going to the SEC, and maybe some of the schools in the ACC, Georgia Tech or Clemson or what have you. I mean, now, you have players from Atlanta, going all over the country, mostly because of their roots outside of Atlanta as well, and so they're willing to, maybe leave the Southeast a little bit more often. And the other thing I think that you find is, man, there's some tremendous academic prospects there, guys who are great students, going to some of the top academic schools all across the country. So for us, we're going to be monitoring, the talent in Atlanta, not just because it's a great city with a lot of good players, but also I think you're starting to see that there's great students there as well.
No doubt. Coach, look forward to when you and your staff come to town. Hit me up. I'd love to see you all down here and show you all the good time as well, man.
I'll see you in Cartersville. I'm sure I'll be in Cartersville.
Yes, Lake Point. Yes, Lake Point for indeed. Yes, I'll be there. And I'll be at the Peach Jam too in Augusta. So I'll be both places, brother.
All right, man. Great seeing you again.
See you, brother. Y'all be safe, man.
Yep, you too.
All right.
See you, Bossman.
See you now.
Yep, I'll see you down there for sure.
No doubt. And now let me ask you before you go, Coach. Man, let me ask you before you go. Are you all playing any non-conference games close down here or no?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I'm gonna do is when the Hawks play the Wizards, I'll make sure if you all in town, I'll come see you all play for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Come up.
So I want you to know that. Yeah. So once the schedule comes out in August, I'm gonna text you and say, hey, we coming this day. Hopefully you all have a game now. Come by and see you all play over there, man.
Perfect.
All right, y'all. Kevin, thanks so much, brother. See y'all soon,
Kevin.
man.
Yep, we'll see you.
What's up, fans? Our partners here at Bet Online continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, sports developments, including this year's NBA Finals, NHL, hockey conference finals, Major League Baseball, and the latest fighting news, even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Not only does this Bet Online sponsor the Bossman Show, they'll sponsor you too. Get it, Bet Online today, because the Bossman said so.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.